Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for your patience. I am ripping and running as usual on Thursdays. It's a lot going on, but I appreciate your patience. Just give me a second to get my notes, my board, my beard together. Good to see you all. Go ahead and start liking and sharing the video. And of course, while you're doing that, how am I? I'm tired. I'm very tired. It's been a very busy and hectic week. A lot of challenges this week, but we're making it happen. Hey, Michonne, good to see you. Making it happen, no complaining. Do me a favor while I'm getting me together. Go ahead and like the video, share the video, and jump in the comments and let me know where you're from, city or state, where you're tuning in from. If you're from outside of America, let me know what country you're tuning in from. I would love to know that. All right, would you do that? We do this every Thursday, and we're going to make this fast because I want to go ahead and get on tonight. Baltimore, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you, Be Benevolent, for that. It's kind. Huntersville, hey. Miss Cooley, Boston, Maryland. Where y'all from? Chicago, Marietta, Georgia. There we go. Jacksonville, here they come. Baltimore again. Ohio, DC, DC twice. Michigan, wow. Maryland, there we go. All right, let's keep going. Raleigh, the Philippines. Lehigh Valley. I don't know where that is. Lithonia, Georgia. Thank you so much. South Carolina, Vegas. Wish I was there. Washington, D.C. again. I'm doing good. Charlotte, good to see you. Alameda, of course. You're always here. Detroit, Michigan, Davenport, Florida, Raleigh again. Raleigh's heavy tonight. All right. That's a great thing. Harlem, New York. Thank you so much. Jackson, Tennessee, Dallas. I'll be there next week. It's going to be great. What's wrong, son? Louisiana, Atlanta, Florence, Arizona. Houston. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love the hats too. I really appreciate it. Got some new ones on the way. Can't wait to get them. Mount Holly, Nashville. I should have some new ones back online too for those of you that are interested in getting one. Should have those soon too. What's up, O'Neill? Good to see you. New Orleans. Hey, my best retired school teacher. You should. Did I connect you with Sion? If I didn't, let me know. I should have. In my mind, I did. We're going to be announcing something tonight, and so I definitely need to get you with Sion, so we can get you on that New Orleans team. Can't wait. Hey, D. Smitty, appreciate you. Charlotte, all right. Ontario, Canada. Wow, thank you. Have clients in Canada. OKC. No, not yet. That's on me. In my mind, I did that. In my mind, I already made the connection to Sion, and I was telling Sion about you and your husband and how you guys support my work and want to support in New Orleans. And so I will definitely get that message to you. Jacksonville, Florida, and I'm going to do that before I lay down tonight. South Carolina, good. Charlotte again. All right, y'all. Are y'all sharing the video? Let's get this number up. Let's get the number up. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I just need to switch some things around. I hope you guys aren't upset with me from last week. If you are, y'all are going to get over it. I don't care. Y'all are going to get over it. But I really needed to interrupt the series we were on to just talk about that. And I really felt led to do it. And I'm glad that I did because I think it was pretty critical, if I'm being honest with you. So we are talking about the correction wound and your attachment style. And this is part 2 that we're going to dive into tonight and hopefully finish this up tonight because there's some other things I want to kind of switch gears and get into as we get, kind of in the thick of the fall season. Good night. Love you. As we get into the thick of the fall season, there's some things that we got to shift into that I want to kind of steer us in towards the end of the year. And so OKC, good. South Carolina, Manville, Texas. Wow, y'all are still starting to come in. Share the video. And so I want to teach this tonight and hopefully finish this series tonight because it is a very important series. If you have not done this, if you follow me on social media, my son is in the running for this whole Sports Illustrated kind of competition. Go ahead and vote. It's 40 more minutes left before you can cast a vote. And I don't remember where he was last time I looked. So the link's in my bio. Just click on it and take a second and vote. That would be great. I'm grabbing my notes and trying to remember where we started. I think I've got where we are. And we're going to talk about some very critical things tonight. And I've got another major announcement to make about the tour. Very, 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 very major announcement. Okay. And so yeah, just had to do what we had to do last week. I meant what I said, everything that I said. In fact, that was the con version. There were so many other things I wanted to say last week that I just had to just kind of reel it in, because I'll be frank with you, I knew something was missing. It's my mic. I'll be frank with you. People get offended by the stuff that I say, and I don't even really hit hard yet. Like, what I say and what's in my brain rarely matches. It rarely, it rarely matches. If you all could just jump in my brain some days when I make these videos or I'm doing these lives, God, y'all would be like, this guy is freaking crazy. Yeah, probably so. Because I just really have to sometimes put on filters, because I'm not quite sure people can really handle what I really think and want to say sometimes. And filters are good. Sometimes filters keep you out of trouble. Sometimes filters are necessary. But last week was filtered, but it was necessary. Healing ought to look like healing. Shouldn't look like an attitude. You got an attitude problem. You not healed. You need to go back to the drawing board. You have a hard time working with people, and every single time you in a group with people, there's always a problem. In every single group you're in, go back to the drawing board. Oh my God. So it was just some things that needed to be said last week. All right. So Doc, don't take it personal. Doc's giving you this so that you can continue to grow and develop. And we're on this journey together, and it's great. Do me a favor, background lights, come on. Waiting on my background lights to click on. There they go. Uh, do me a favor, if you haven't already, like and share the video. Um, I want you to support the show. Keep in mind, your support goes a long way in helping us do this on just about every single Thursday. We only maybe miss 2 to 3 Thursdays a year. So we're on here for 52 weeks. Well, right around 49, 50 weeks every year. Consistently, and some weeks more than that. So when we do like series. And so make sure you share the video. If you have not subscribed to me on YouTube, do that right away. You may have seen a content shift for me. I'm doing this 30-day challenge, and so it's been a lot of fun just doing short form content. I can do it much faster. It's actually saving me time. I'm loving it. But I have not given up the client stories. I'm just taking a break in September. It is birthday month in my family. Sister's birthday was yesterday. Dad's birthday is today. My birthday, September the 23rd. And so this is perfect because it allows me to continue to do content, but somewhat get a break as well. And then we're going to be right back hard with the client stories and things like that in October. All right. So really appreciate all of you. Let me say this: my books will be opening right around November for new clients. This is pretty standard if you follow my work. They'll be opening right around November for new clients starting in 2026. Just been looking at my calendar, and my assistant and I have been just trying to figure some things out. And the way it's looking, I don't think I'm going to be able to open it up for the end of this year with the holidays and everything else. It's really tricky. And so just be on the lookout for that in November, and perhaps one other very, 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 very big announcement, hopefully by the month of October. We've got a couple of weeks to finish it. I should hopefully be sharing that with you really soon as well. Let's talk about tonight. Want to encourage you to grab your journal if you haven't already. Make sure you keep the comment section as professional as possible. Here at Inspire Nation, eagles fly high above birds. And so make sure your comments are very professional in the comment section. I really would appreciate it. In the event that you see something ratchet in the comments, somebody saying something crazy towards me, towards you, whatever, don't go back and forth with people on bird level. Just throw an eagle in the chat area and our awesome moderators will do a great job of shooting birds out of the sky, because that's what they do and that's what we do here. So let's try to keep the comments as professional as possible, because it really would mean something for people that are on different places at different places on their healing journey. All right. So let's keep it G in that regard as relates to the comments. Let me mention something else really quickly before I kind of get into. Thank you, Naomi, for your support already. Appreciate you. Such a sweetheart. She's already supported. She's always one of the first ones to support. I really appreciate it. We'll talk about supporting the show in a second. Hey, Dallas, I'm going to be in your area. I'm going to be in Dallas next Saturday. The tour is coming to Dallas next Saturday, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about that stop in Dallas next Saturday. And so if you have not grabbed your ticket to Dallas, I need you to do that right away. Now, some of you have missed the promo. Shout out to my comedian friend who did the great promo of the tour on my page. He is a fool. Great promo on my page. But many of you missed this, that I'm running a promo, that if any of you bring 5 people with you, I'm going to give you a free counseling session. You'll never see this deal again. Doc has really been in a generous mood, a very generous mood. So you will never see this deal again. And so if you come to the show next Saturday and you bring 5 people with you, Doc's going to give you a free counseling session. All right. And so take advantage. The link is up. You guys are always so very last minute when it comes to tickets. But go ahead and do that. And I know the Dallas team is going to be prepared to receive you guys when you get there, and it's going to be great. No, you don't want that for New Orleans. You think you want that for New Orleans, but just wait till I tell you what's coming in New Orleans. You don't want that for New Orleans. I'm going to give you guys an announcement in a little while, but you don't want that for New Orleans. That pales in comparison to New Orleans, and that's a great deal. But take my word on that. Take my word on it. All right, so let's get into it. Hey, the ways to support are on the screen. I need you to support the show. Why, Doc? Why you scream at us about supporting every week? Because you need to participate in your own rescue. Y'all stop being cheap. It's 2025. Y'all still not going through drive-through lines asking people to hook you up with fries, are you? Oh my God. I hope in 2025 y'all still not going through the drive-through line asking for hookups. That is so 1980. You got to participate in your own rescue. Right? And so I'm challenging you to do that. Why? Because not only does your support might buy me a salad or buy me lunch this weekend or next week or something like that, it allows you to support or participate in your own rescue. And so I want you to support the show. The way to support the show on the screen, it's real simple. We get enough support tonight, we'll leave the live up. You can enjoy the replay as much as you want to. If not, my subscribers will get the access to that content exclusively, and they love it. Shout out to all of my subscribers on IG and Patreon. If you have not subscribed on IG or Patreon, I would highly recommend you do that soon. Y'all gonna be glad you did it in a couple of weeks. I got some stuff brewing and it's gonna be great. And so I would highly recommend that you do that. The subscription space is really growing, and I'm actually looking forward to even doing more pre-recorded content for that space as well. I just enjoy teaching in small groups. It's great. And so I want to get that subscription service up, and I would love to by the middle of 2026 have 1,000 subscribers between those two networks, and I believe that's possible. All right, so like the video, share the video. Let's get into it. Tonight we are talking about the correction wound in your attachment style. Put that comment in the chat. Put tonight's topic in the chat. Put it in your journal. Grab your journal. You might want to put some headphones on if you got kids around you. Tonight's going to be good. The correction wound and your attachment style. Let's deal with part 2 tonight. Now, let me say a couple of things really quickly to just kind of set the pace
before we kind of get in the nuts and bolts of all of this, I want to kind of set the pace because one of the things that I need all of you to keep in mind, and it's kind of sort of a reminder. Remember, we last talked about this on August the 21st. August the 21st is when we last talked about this. And so this is going to somewhat be a reminder to just kind of ease us into where we need to be. Let me mention this to you really quickly. And this is important. Remember, our relationship with correction has a lot to do with our attachment style. Whether we were corrected in a healthy way as a child, we were not corrected in a healthy way, or not even corrected at all. The ways in which we receive correction has a direct correlation to our attachment style. So, whether you're anxious, avoidant, or secure, which hopefully the goal is to be secure, we can see some connection between your attachment style and the way in which you received or had to process correction. Now, this is important because the last time we talked about this, we talked about things like feedback and accountability. And I made this really clear, and people are not listening to me. A lot of people struggle in my seat as clients, not because they're not good people, but because they have a poor relationship with feedback. An incredibly poor relationship with feedback. And I've had people, a family member I talked to today, great guy, was asking for some advice about seeking a therapist, counselor. Zeb, what should I look for? And one of the things that I said to him is you need to find somebody that's honest, because an honest person is going to give you feedback. And this is startling to me. You know why? Because whether you're a man, woman, whatever you are, one of the things that I found is that when you start calling people fake and you force people to look at the lack of alignment in their lives, most people freeze like deer in headlight. Most people have never been challenged with the truth about their lives. And this is why we have an overly sensitive, overly entitled generation that we're living in. And when I say generation, I'm not just talking about young people, younger people. If you're breathing, I'm talking to you. I like that, Gigi. Or block you. I put this up about this yesterday. This is the generation, y'all be offending people, and then you turn around and block them. Oh my God. You talking about internet gaslighting. How are you going to cheat on somebody and then block them? I'll tell you why. Because this generation doesn't like to face the truth. They don't like to face accountability. They don't like to face feedback. They don't like to face responsibility. Oh, yeah, it happens all the time. Some of y'all have been done wrong by people and then they blocked you. The audacity. The audacity for people to do you wrong and then turn around and block you. This is the sign of the times that we're living in. I see it every day. I hear clients describe this every day, and it's insanity. And a lot of this is connected to a poor relationship with correction. I want you to record this. Put this in the chat. Put this in your journal. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all weekend starting tomorrow. You ready? Your relationship with correction will determine your relationship with accountability. This is really simple. Your relationship with correction will determine your relationship with accountability. Then, in fact, show me somebody who struggles with accountability, and I'll show you somebody who struggles with correction. I'll show you somebody that at some point probably had a poor or no correct connection to correction at all in their lives. It never fails. I told a lady this week, this is a true story. I told a lady this week, I said to her, she's 34 years old. She's going to let me share her story for all of y'all to be freaking out like you don't understand how I do what I do. She's going to let me share her story. She's 34 years old. She's got a couple of master's degrees. She's a single mom of a 3-year-old. She's mean as a whip. Mean as a snake. Beautiful lady, several degrees, mean as a snake. Um, and she had the audacity to say to me, she doesn't know how or understand why she can't find anybody. She got all of this daddy issue stuff, challenges with her mom and dad not being present, was raised by her grandmother who was much older, so she wasn't really corrected. She was able to just do pretty much what she wanted to do. And here she is, 35, multiple degrees, great career, great money, beautiful woman, and can't find nobody. And I looked her in the face when she started frowning up, having to go through her childhood because it was too hard at first until that shell broke down and she, like many others, ended up crying on the call. I had to look her in the face and said, "Man, if you don't deal with this, you're going to die single." If you don't deal with these childhood wounds, you will die single. Or you're going to die with Pookie. You can pick one. It's either single or Pookie. Oh my God. Hey, Pookies can be women too, fellas. Doc equal opportunity. Doc don't just get women. I get men, man, woman, show woman. I don't care what you are. How about this? I got a better one for you. Pookie and Pookia. How's that? You're going to either die with Pookie or Pookia. Choose one. If you don't heal your attachment style, that's where you're heading. If you don't heal your relationship with correction, that's where you're heading. And there are a lot of beautiful women, a lot of beautiful men that will die single because you can't tell them nothing. And let me tell you something. Let me just bust some bubbles now. Don't you dare walk around talking about something you healed and can't nobody tell you nothing. Don't you dare walk around talking about I'm here. I'm on a healing journey. I'm on a healing journey. I'm working on the 5-8. No, you're not. Not if can't nobody tell you nothing. You you ain't doing but lying to yourself. Cut it out. And there's a whole lot of you that's gonna end up with Pookie and Pookia because can't nobody tell you nothing. You've got to heal your relationship with correction. This is very important. Let's go further. I want you to record this. When we don't have a healthy relationship with correction, it can really manifest for the anxious style. Anxious people with anxious correction, anxious attachment styles, people with anxious attachment styles take correction as personal failure. I'm going to explain this stuff. If you have an anxious attachment style and you struggle with a correction wound, sometimes you don't know you have the correction wound, but you can know it is a correction wound if you take correction as personal failure. This is for all of you who look at yourself as a failure every time you're corrected. Y'all, you don't have to be a failure because you did something wrong. What is Doc getting at? People with anxious attachment styles tend to be very extreme. I need you to record that. People with anxious attachment styles that have correction wounds tend to be very extreme. Everything is life or death, heaven or hell. You get on them about something and you don't even make it personal, they depressed for 7 days. And that is because your anxious attachment style, thank you so much, Sunkiss, for your support. Your anxious attachment style and poor relationship with correction has you taking correction as personal failure, where you can be wrong and not be a failure at the same time. I need every anxious person to put that in the chat. I'm trying to help you. You can be wrong and not be a failure at the same time. And if you're one of those people who take being wrong to the extreme of, I'm a failure, woe is me, you got a correction wound. I like that Cena. She said on YouTube, the I can't do anything right person. Couldn't have said it better. This is why, for those of you that are parents, you got to be very careful when you're raising your children. If they fail, that you give them the healthy balance of helping them to realize that just because they failed at something does not make them a failure. Some of you have a correction wound because you were corrected by your parents, and when you failed, you were called names. Uh-oh. So you failed, and they didn't just say, "Hey, you failed this. I'm not pleased with you failing. I'm very disappointed, but because I know you can do better. You're smart. You got you failed, and you're a big dummy. You're stupid like your daddy. Your mama always been stupid." You know what that does? That causes you, if you go in the space or the direction of anxiousness, that causes you to internalize failure. It absolutely causes you to internalize failure. And when you internalize failure like that, you will be extreme. And I'm going to tell y'all, because we know the goal of attachment style is to be secure. When you're secure, it is hard to be around an anxious person and try to engage, be friends with, date anxious people when you're secure, because you can get on them about something, but then you're going to have to sit there and listen to them mope and whine about how dumb they are. And then you'll be looking at them like, I didn't call you dumb. I just said what you did wasn't smart. I didn't call you dumb. I just said you made a crazy decision. I'm just stupid. I'm just a fool. And to secure people, it wears on you. Kids and I been catching up on Love Island. My kids know me so well. We catch up on Love Island, and we just back and forth about people, the characters on there. I'm not gonna call any character names, stuff like that. And my kids were like, "Daddy, what do you think about such and such? Could you put up with such and such, somebody like such and such?" And my son would say that, and then Giselle would just pop out and say, "No, Daddy can't deal with nothing like that." You know why? Because when you secure, there's just certain things. People that tend to make everything extreme not only have a severe correction wound, to the securely attached, it becomes it becomes more of a nuisance than it is a blessing. Being connected to people like that becomes more of a nuisance than it is a blessing. And it can take everything that you have about you that is positive, that is awesome, and it's like smearing it with mud. Trying to help some of you anxious and avoidant people who claim you want to be secure, and those of you that are thinking about this in the relationship and friendship space that claim to want secure people, tighten that up. Oh my God. Tighten that up. If a person can't get on you without you threatening to unalive yourself because you have taken that failure to such an extreme, and every week they got to talk you off the ledge, it gets draining. It gets draining. Without I just need some reassurance. Sometimes that I just need to be reassured. I need somebody that can reassure me. Let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with words of affirmation, but there's a fine line between words of affirmation and constant reassurance. Oh my God. There's a fine line between words of affirmation and the need for constant reassurance. And some of y'all walking around talking about stuff. I just need words of affirmation. My love language is words of affirmation. I need somebody to pour into me every hour of the day. We got to pour into you every hour of the day for you to feel affirmed. That ain't words of affirmation. Not at all. That is a need for constant reassurance. And that is very symptomatic of people with anxious attachment styles. It shifts from words of affirmation to this blistering need to always be reassured. That wears a secure person out. I'm telling you now. Well, Doc, what's the line? I'm going to get to avoidance in a second. Well, then, Doc, what's the line we need to tell? I'll tell you the line you need to tell. How you know you ain't gone too far? When your need or when your reassurance of someone or reassurance for someone, they become so codependent on that assurance that they struggle to function. They either struggle to function or you have a hard time functioning because you have to give it out. You've gone too far. You have officially reached the space of codependency. You have reached the space of codependency when they have to depend on your reassurance in order to function, and you feel like you've been made to have to give it to them, or they can't function. And so now you frustrated so much so that you can't even function. You're in codependency. Heal that attachment style so you stop taking everything so extreme. I see a lot of salads up. Y'all supporting. Very good. Thank you. What about with the avoidant then? Well, with the avoidant attachment style, people who have, y'all like the video, share the video. Let's get these numbers up. The numbers are low tonight. Let's get it up. It is Thursday night football. I'm watching Dallas. I can't, call them no names because I'm going to be there in a couple of weeks or in a week. Let's talk about the avoidant attachment style. When a person is avoidant and they have a correction wound, here's an easy way you can figure it out. Avoidance will treat your correction as an attack on their identity. Avoidance will treat correction as an attack on identity. This is powerful. You know you are in the presence of an avoidant when you correct them and they take the attack as you coming against their identity, who they are, what they represent. And instead of them facing that correction, what do? They run from it. They run from it. So anxious people will look at it as personal failure. Avoidance will look at it as, oh, you think I'm dumb. You think I am a bad person. I'm really not a bad person. Sometimes avoidance, you will know their avoidance when you correct them. And instead of them dealing with the issue, they start dealing with what kind of person they are. This is so good. Y'all ready for this? You're going to know you're in the presence of an avoidant when you have to get on them about something that they did, and it's very black and white. But then instead of them dealing with the issue, avoidance, put this in all capital letters. This is a salad moment. Avoidance are master deflectors. Oh, God. Avoidance are master deflectors. Nobody deflects better than an avoidant. So here you are trying to settle an issue with them, correct them on something that they did. And instead of them addressing it, they say, well, if you think I'm such a bad person, why are you with me? Wait a minute. Oh my God. Let me help some of y'all. Some of you in a relationship that's been in a relationship with an avoidant that just disrespected you. They disrespected you. Thank you, Maya. I appreciate your support. Y'all better support this show. I'm just getting warmed up. They disrespected you. You called them out on the disrespect, and get this, you won't even rude. Hey, listen, I just want to talk to you because, what you said, what you did was really disrespectful, and I don't appreciate it, and it's not acceptable, and I'm not going to accept it. And so instead of them saying, well, how did that make you feel? What did I really do? You know what they do? They say, well, if you don't want to be here, like, we don't have to do this. Or if you think I'm such a bad person, why are we still doing this? If I was that bad, we wouldn't have been together. We wouldn't have been together for 5 years. You wouldn't have been here for 5 years. You've been here for 5 years. Now, some of you, because I see a really good comment on IG, and I want to address this. What if they break stuff in the house? Oh God, I'm gonna get to that in a second. I want to address this. I've experienced the duality of both anxious and avoidant in the same person. That's very interesting, and I shared this with someone. I think it was today or yesterday. If a person swings back and forth from anxiousness to avoidance, that is a person that is literally trying to function with unprocessed trauma. I want you to record this. You're going to be the smartest person in the water cooler. If you or somebody you know go from anxious to avoidant, and you swing, and when I say swing like a pendulum, I mean you do it within like the same day. 1 minute you anxious, 1 minute you avoidant. It can be as common as the same day. You're dealing with somebody that has unprocessed trauma. Now, there could be some arguments depending on the behavior, what quote unquote triggers it. This is where you get into conversations with things about being bipolar and stuff like that. Far out of the scope of what we will talk about tonight, but I will say, if a person is swinging back and forth from anxious to avoidant, anxious to avoidant, anxious to avoidant, anxious to avoidant, it is because they have a mountain of unprocessed trauma. Right? And I like that because there is a term for this. If you know anything about it, and it simply is called disorganized. It makes sense. You're not organized on one side, you're not organized on the other. You're flip-flopping. You cannot get organized with what your attachment style is because you have trauma that you have not processed. In a lot of cases, what I've seen is this is especially important for people who have never done this work before. Because you tend to not see it with people that are doing this work, right? That are doing some type of counseling, um, therapy, coaching work. You tend to not see it in those type of people. Why? Thank you so much for your support. Why? Because if you're seeing a good practitioner, you guys should be processing these shifts. You should be processing it, which is why I tell y'all, make sure you choose the right ones, please. Choose somebody. I put it up in a video this week. Some of y'all hate the truth. Choose somebody that's going to be honest and that's going to tell you the truth. I think I did it today. It was about one of the greatest myths about counseling, therapy, coaching, and that is that it takes all day. It don't take all day. Counseling, coaches, therapy don't take all day. Some of us have tapped into folks that don't deal with us in that space in a very truthful and a very straightforward way. Thank you so much, Schulter. I appreciate that. It don't take all day. So people shift and swing when there's a mountain of unprocessed trauma. But avoidants are interesting. They're master deflectors. And when something doesn't go right, they get called out. Instead of addressing the issue, They try to address the person and make how the person has addressed them some type of an attack on who they are as a person. And it's crazy. And let me tell you something. This is why anxious and avoidance together, dangerous. Because when an avoidant does that to an anxious person, what does the anxious person do? I'm sorry. No, I'm not saying, don't leave me. I don't want to end it. I'm just, no, hold on, let me get my list together. I'm sorry. I don't want to end it. I'm just trying to just tell you, I don't appreciate the way you're showing up. I didn't mean for you to say it, that it was over. I don't want you to leave. You know what that does? All that does is feed into their avoidance, their foolishness. That's it. Anxious people feed into their avoidance when they do that stuff. I'm gonna get my puppet. They in there. I might go grab them in a little bit. And this is why anxious and avoidant people create very toxic relationships. Let me tell you what secure looks like. People who are secure, who have healed their correction wound, you want to know what that looks like? Let me give you 2 prompts that'll help you. Here are 2 measuring tools that you can use to help you realize that you are on the secure path. You ready? Can you say stuff like, I can grow without fear? I can grow without fear. Meaning, I can experience anything in my life that's going to create growth without the fear that it's going to harm me, without the fear that it's going to destroy me, without the fear that it's going to get the best of me. Can you say that? I can grow without fear. I can be challenged without fear. Can you say stuff like, I can receive guidance without shame? I'm giving you some secure prompts, y'all. Y'all writing this down? Come on. I can receive guidance without shame. We're not talking about fear wounds tonight. We're talking about correction wounds. Now, these wounds can feed off of one another. Because if you have a correction wound, it can actually encourage the creation of other wounds. Can you say stuff like, yeah, I can receive guidance without shame? These are perspectives of the secure. Okay? Now, let me give you some ways you can explore this. I want to give you a couple of things you can do to explore this. I feel like I'm all over the place, kind of, sort of, but I got a lot of content here tonight. I want to give you this. This is a full-fledged, you don't even hear me hitting the machine a lot tonight because it's a lot of content, all right? Though I'm going to hit it every now and then. Oh, my God. I want to give you 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to give you 4 big prompts you can use that will help you to evaluate if you have a correction wound and the status of your correction wound. Okay? 4 big prompts you can use to evaluate if you had a correction wound and the status of your correction wound. Okay? 4 big prompts you can use to evaluate if you had a correction wound in the past and the status of your correction wound right now. Okay? 4 prompts. These are easy journal prompts. Number 1, this is an easy one. We talked about this a lot on the lives. Thank you so much, Ms. Barber, for your support. Y'all support the show. Number 1, what did correction look like between the ages of 3 to 8? Let's just start there. This is a general one, and we're going to funnel this down to more specific things. Number one, what did correction look like from the ages of 3 to 8? Now, I heard something on TikTok just now that sounds really deep, but let me just say this. Somebody said, I can receive guidance without shame, but can they give it without shaming me? If you can receive guidance without shame, ain't nothing they can do to shame you. It's almost like saying people trigger us. And y'all know what I think about being triggered, don't you? If you followed my work, you know what I think about being triggered. Ain't nobody triggering you. Ain't nobody took your gun and shot you. When we claim we are being triggered, what we are really saying is that we are giving over our authority to somebody else. So no, can't nobody shame you unless you allow them to. Now, the ages of 3 to 8, just as a reminder, and that's a really good point. No, it's no criticism of that comment on TikTok. I appreciate that, right? These are teaching moments for all of us, so I appreciate that, right? But let me just say this. This is important. You follow my work, you've heard me talk about this, that from the ages of 3 to 8 is when our attachment styles are born. And so it is really important in your journaling that you work to do this work as best as possible to try to remember back as far as possible things that you've experienced in your life, because the earlier you can remember, the more likely you are able to get to the root of where these challenges come with these different types of wounds. And I get it. Life can happen. You can forget a lot of experiences that you've gone through just as a byproduct of the things that have happened in your life. I understand that. But as far back as you can go, try to get back as far back as you can go, because that will be helpful in helping you to determine some of these wounds and their origin. Now, I've seen this in my work. This is what I've seen in my work. I've seen people come to me that could not remember past, say, the age of 12, like they're like 40. And they couldn't remember things, say, like past the age of 12 to 15. Let me tell you something that this work has done for them. As they do this work, as they work on one wound, they end up opening other wounds. Those wounds that they open up other wounds. As they heal those wounds, then all of a sudden they begin to recall things that connect to the wounds that they just solved, that introduce other wounds they haven't addressed yet. This is what I've seen in my space. I've seen in my space that when you do this work, it is absolutely possible for your memory to improve as you uncover dead bodies. Oh my God. What are the dead bodies, Doc? I'm talking about the things that were challenges that you can't remember. It's like taking that onion and peeling it back. You peeled it back to the age of 12. You solved that, but then all of a sudden, shoot, I can peel it back a little bit deeper. I've really found that to be the case. That I truly believe that as you heal, one of the byproducts of healing is improved memory. Yeah, that's cold right there. That's cold. That is cold. I'm telling you, it's improvement. All of a sudden, you start remembering stuff. Stuff starts coming back to you. Why? Because you're able to connect the pieces from other elements of your life and dig deeper. As you're digging into them to solve them, to heal them, it allows you quite naturally to be able to go deeper. Okay? So that's prompt one. Let's get into some juicy prompts. Prompt two. I'm giving you some prompts as reflections that will help you to define what correction meant to you. Prompt two. Watch this. I like this one. Was I correct? And by the way, my subscribers, we get this every Monday. Shout out to them. Prompt two. Was I corrected in love, shame, silence, or anger? I'm about to walk through these. Was I corrected in love, shame, silence, or anger? I want you to write all 4 down, and then we're going to do some subs, and I'm going to cover each of them really quickly. When you were you corrected in love, shame, silence, or anger? Let's walk through this. What does being corrected in love look like? Being corrected in love does not mean the absence of discipline. For all of you piss poor parents. Oh my God. But Doc, I can't correct them, Doc, because I'm gonna hurt his feelings, Doc. I can't correct him, Doc. I can't correct the Doc, because she gonna cry. Somebody on TikTok said that 3-year-old just yelled out, "Oh my God, I love it." Oh my God. Hey, I'm here to tell you, you probably don't love your child if you don't discipline them. Ain't no probably to it. You don't love your kid if you don't discipline your kid. Let's watch how quiet it get. I know, because some of y'all still counting. Yeah, some of y'all still counting. I told a story about this. On one of my videos. It's a true story. I was in a store, and this kid was terrorizing the checkout line. And I know this kid was every bit of 4 or 5. Was talking everything. This kid was terrorizing. The kid was climbing up on the candy thing, was climbing up on the candy stand. The whole stand about to fall down. Kit Kats everywhere, taking the chips. The mama was just saying, hey, Johnny, stop, Johnny, no, John, no. And took the bags out and then was looking at the people in the line, looking, I'm so sorry. So she finally got Johnny to stop. She said, oh, I forgot something. So the people in the line were relieved. So she left the line and went to the back of the store. Got something. And she was coming back. And lo and behold, Johnny was following her, and Johnny turned off. She's in the line, and she's behind us, and she turns, oh my God, where's Johnny? Johnny! 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 And Johnny comes, and he sticks his head out and looks in the aisle, and he's laughing. She's getting frustrated. Get up here, Johnny! And he puts his head out like this. And guess what she says? She says, all right, Johnny, it's the last time I'm going to tell you. Then she says, 1, 2. I looked at her and said, 3. Y'all call that gentle parenting. I call that creating terrorists. Oh my God. Y'all call that gentle parenting. I call that terrorism. You might as well be on the watch list. You might as well be on the flying watch list. I call it, put Johnny on the flying watch list. 4. She was just counting. The lady behind me, God bless her, had to be somebody's grandma. Old black lady behind me, God bless her. She just grabbed her purse and put her head down and was just doing like this and closed her eyes. I know what that meant. Oh my God. I know what that meant. She just put her and just was closed her and just shaking her head like this and just almost like she was praying. Just oh my God. I know what that meant. That ain't what love is, y'all, in correction. Love is the fine line and balance between discipline, and care. Between discipline and intentional care. I want y'all to record this. You're going to know you were corrected healthily when when your parents, guardian, whoever was responsible for raising you, did it in a manner where there was a balance between love and consistent care. Meaning, you never confused their discipline with a lack of care. This for all of you that's going to take what I just said to the extreme. This is going to hurt some of y'all that's going to take it to the extreme. Because some of y'all heard me talking about little Johnny. And I know you said, I would have grabbed him. I would have took an extension cord and I'd have went off. That's abuse, y'all. And I've had to explain this to so many people. I realize that many of us grew up in different generations. There is no generation that is perfect. Every generation has its pros and its cons. Every generation has its things that it did great and it didn't do so well. But let me tell y'all something. While it might not have killed you, you cannot explain to me that throwing an iron at your kid is a healthy way to show them love. Can you go grab can you go get Tyrone, Keisha, and Rachel for me? Just choose. You cannot justify that you were corrected in healthy love if you got irons thrown at you. Now, before you want to rag on the lost generation or the silent generation, yes. Before you want to rag on the silent generation and you want to rag on the boomers that did that, let me tell you something that was positive about that. And Doc is not pro iron board. So don't y'all take no side by. Renowned counselor encouraging people to throw irons and iron boards. Doc is not doing that. But let me tell you something that was good about the fact that they went through that. Many of them have a healthy respect for their elders. Uh-oh. And let me tell you something about you millennials and below. A lot of you millennials and below, you struggle with respecting your elders. You got a little bit of internet. You got a few degrees here and there. You know how to define trauma. You got a counselor and a therapist. And you have no healthy respect for your elders. Because in that time, you ain't had to call the police. All we had to do was call your daddy. Uh-oh. Oh, my God. See how quiet it is? See, that's why you got to be careful ragging on generations. There ain't no perfect generation. Love you, baby. There ain't no perfect generation. Every generation's got its flaws and it's got its great points. And that older generation, yeah, they were throwing brooms and mops and irons, but you did not see little kids cussing out adults. Can't say that today. Many of your kids be cussing out their teachers, and y'all support it. And you call it gentle parenting. You call it gentle parenting. And meanwhile, I grew up in a time where the worst thing you could have said to me as a kid, if you was my teacher, the worst thing you could have said to me was not that I made an F. I can pull that up. Tell me I made an F, no big deal. I can fix that. Tell me I might fail this class, no problem. I can work hard and fix that too. Tell me that I could have did better on a test, I can fix that too. Let me tell you one thing you couldn't tell me. I'm gonna call your mom and daddy. Hey, all you millennials and Xers, can we say the same about y'all in the way you raising your kids? See how quiet it is? This stuff, some of this stuff y'all calling gentle parenting is really, some of this stuff y'all are calling gentle parenting is really nothing but childhood terrorism. Childhood terrorism. I mean, we used to cry. Well, first of all, I never had anybody have to say, call my daddy, because there's even levels to this. I want y'all to type levels in the chat. There's even levels to this. Shout out to my daddy. His birthday is today. Let me tell you something. There's levels to this. Some of y'all had to be threatened to call your mom and daddy. Some of us, we didn't even have to go that far. You ain't got to no, in fact, my behavior ain't gonna even get in that space to where you ain't gonna even have to utter those words to me. I was afraid of the threat. More than just the actual call, I was afraid of the threat. I started getting nervous. I would get nervous and think you told them anyway. See, your kids don't have that. You know why? Because you gentle parents. Now, again, for the millionth time, I am not condoning throwing iron boards and brooms at kids. That generation got that wrong. And I know the older generation, I'm going to lose some of y'all on that. That's fine. That generation got that wrong. But I tell you what it did produce. It produced a generation of kids that didn't backtalk their parents. That didn't say bro and sis to their mama and daddy. This is why the parenting bar is in hell right now. It's so low, it's in hell. My kids and I have a great relationship. My kids do not call me bro. The only time they call me bro is when we are laughing and playing, or daddy then said something foolish, or he acting crazy. They'll be like, bro. They know better than call me bro when I'm correcting them. And some of y'all be correcting your kids, and they be like, chill out, bro. You gentle parents. And you calling it love. I'm showing my kids this is what gentle love is. Mm-mm. Evaluate your relationship with correction. And I'm telling you, when you're thinking about this, was I corrected in love? Was there a balance between discipline and care? Did I ever think when I was corrected that my parents didn't care about me when they disciplined me? Maybe you got a correction wound. I've had to correct my kids and turn right around after I've laid them out and say, I think you're special. Daddy coming down on you because you know better. Son, you the greatest Zebedee to ever live. Giselle, don't do that. They may not have liked the message. They might cry when I correct them. But you would never hear my kids say, my daddy don't care about me. Because there has to be a balance. So, was I corrected in love? 1. 2, was I corrected in shame? This is a big one. Was I corrected in shame? Were you, when you go back and think about your correction, are y'all supporting the show? Y'all not supporting the show. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Y'all not supporting this show. Oh no. Oh no. Y'all not supporting this show. Support the show. When you were corrected, I want you to ask yourself this question. When I was corrected, as far back as you can remember, but especially if you can get in that 3 to 8 range, when they corrected me, did they use shame as a tool to make me Do better. Was shame used as a tool to fix my behavior? I want y'all to record that. Was shame used as a tool to correct my behavior? Was shame used as a tool to correct my behavior? The answer to that question is yes. You probably have a correction wound. And there are a lot of parents and guardians that believe shame changes behavior. Now, let me say this. About to lose some of y'all again. A healthy amount of shame will improve your self-awareness. I want you to write that in the chat. There's levels to this. Come on. A healthy amount of shame can improve self-awareness. Look at y'all. Ain't but two people wrote it down. Ain't but two people put it in the chat. No, I get it. I get it. You know why? Because this generation hates shame. And I am an advocate that today in my work, I see this every day. We need to bring back a little bit of shame. You know why? Because if we brought back some shame, some of y'all would stop walking out the house with them bonnets on your head. Oh my God. If we brought back a little bit of shame, some of y'all would stop cussing your teachers out for your kids' crazy behavior. Oh my God. If we brought back a little bit of shame, some of y'all would stop airing your personal business out on social media as if people really care, when all they're doing is screenshotting it and sharing it. Oh my God. If we brought back a little bit of shame, some of you wouldn't think it's okay to date your best friend's ex, and they just broke up last week. Oh my God. If we brought back a little bit of shame, some of you would apologize so you wouldn't have to be exposed later. Oh my God. But when you get back into this gentle parenting that is creating all these terrorists, people be saying stuff like, "Oh, you can't shame me. Don't shame. You can't shame me. I ain't trying to shame you. I'm just telling you what you did." And maybe you should just feel the shame that came with your behavior so you can do something different next time. Yeah, we need to bring back a little bit. Let me tell you something. Two things that ain't really killed a lot of people, especially when it's done in love. When shame is done in love, it ain't going to hurt you. There's two things that ain't hurt nobody when it's done in love. You want to know what those things are? Y'all ain't going to like this. When done in love, because shame has a first cousin. When done in love, a little bit, record it. Come on, write this in your journal. Put this in the chat. When done in love, a little bit of shame and embarrassment won't hurt nobody. No, it ain't good English. I got a real PhD. From an accredited school. When done in love, a little bit of shame and embarrassment ain't gonna hurt nobody. Hey, I'm talking to all of you parents right now. All of you parents right now, especially of little kids in this age range. Remember how we talked about the pros and cons of every generation? There's something that older generation did do that I thought was magic. That old generation used to do something that I thought was magic. And that is, that old generation believed that wherever you messed up was where you got corrected. We talking about correction wounds, right? Wherever you messed up is where you got corrected. This is why this generation struggles. Many of you have correction wounds that's impacting your attachment style because you ain't really never been embarrassed or shamed. And when shame and embarrassment is done in love, a little bit of shame and embarrassment ain't gonna hurt you. That older generation, my grandma and them, great grandma and them, you know what they used to do? If you messed up in the store, you got corrected in the store. It could have been 2 people in there. It could have been 2,000. If you messed up in the mall, you got corrected in the mall. Look how quiet it is. All the gentle parents are in the chat. All the gentle parenting champs are in the chat. Chat. Instead of the parents that need to be balanced with love. You got to redefine how you define in gentle parenting. Because some of y'all are going to the extreme. You don't ever correct your kids. And that's why them little monsters are running. Little Tyrone is running your life. That's why little Tyrone is running your life. Hey, Tyrone, did you clean your room up? Tyrone, you clean your room up? No, I ain't clean my room up. What you asking me for, Daddy? Tyrone, I was just asking a question. Did you clean your room up? No, I ain't clean my room up, man. It's my room, man. Get out my room. Tyrone, 1, 2. Man, don't count. Man, get out my room. Man, get out my room. And shut the door when you leave. Okay, Tyrone, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Your dinner will be ready in a few minutes. Man, go on with that, man. I'll Uber eat some food. Man, what you looking at? And y'all call that gentle parenting. For some of y'all, Tyrone headbutting y'all. Now, I want to say this. I'm going to get in trouble when I say this. Are y'all listening to me? Doc believes he's too fine and too successful to be in prison. Okay, so I want to put a premise on what I'm about to say. Doc believes he's too fine and way too successful to go to prison. Okay, and I'm going to do everything I can not to go there. But let me tell y'all something. If my kids ever try to fight me, Doc just needs one of y'all to get his wallet that's got his cards, all access to his money. You ain't even got to use your money. Just use my wallet to get me out. I'm not being funny. I'm being serious. I'm telling you, you would be shocked at the people I've worked with who give horror stories about their kids fighting them, and you still in the store counting. You can say whatever you want to say about me, but y'all gonna be reading about me that day in the paper. internationally renowned counselor and coach, arrested on charges of first-degree battery, assault of a minor. I'm not playing. We can criticize the older generation, y'all, but they believed in shame. And it was done in love. Them folks didn't have the degrees we had. They didn't have the money we got. They didn't have the big houses we got. Many of them was working multiple jobs, trying to do everything they could to take care of their family. And all they asked of their kids to do was behave. Go to school and behave. Meanwhile, you got little Johnny, little Tyrone, little Sarah, where all they got to do is go to school, come home, they get to eat snacks all day. They got TikTok and Roblox. They got all this stuff, and they don't even know how to talk to you right. And you let them. And then some of them have the audacity to swing on you, and you do like this. Mm-mm. One of us gonna get hurt today. And Doc works out every morning at 4:08 in the morning. It ain't gonna be me. Y'all, you got to evaluate your relationship with shame. I'm just here to tell you that some shame is bad. If you have been corrected as a child and shame was guiding the correction to make you feel bad about yourself or make you feel like you were nobody or nothing, that is a poor correction wound. But a healthy correction wound with a healthy dose of shame and embarrassment that is grounded in love, shame and embarrassment that is grounded in love is not going to destroy your kid. Was I corrected in love, shame? Here's the third one. This is a big one. Was I corrected in silence? Record this down. Write it down. Was I corrected in silence? Shout out to Kim. She got me on this Saratoga water. Y'all probably won't see that other brand no more. Because she got on me. She said, Doc, you talk about riding first class and your life is so first class and this and you're doing all this great stuff, but you sitting there drinking that raggedy water. Here, try to put this all in a note. Call me out on the note. I went and got me a case and I ain't looked back. Whew. And order me some this weekend. Yeah, Saratoga it really is. It really is a not like this Saratoga go hard. Were you corrected in silence? In other words, was silence used as a weapon to correct your behavior? When you did wrong, did your parents or guardians give you silent treatment to try to make you feel bad about what you did instead of just responding to their offense with their words, or responding to your offense with their words? Did people use silent treatment to correct you? I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. Of all of the correction tactics that I've seen in my space, when it comes to helping people navigate correction wounds and that attachment to how they show up in relationships and life and healing their attachment style and all kinds of other traumas, the one correction style or form of correction that creates more anxious people is silent treatment. I don't have a percentage, but I would go out on a limb and say that at least, and this is bare bone minimum, at least 50% of the people who have an anxious attachment style also have a correction wound associated with silent treatment. I don't have, again, I don't have the numbers to pull here. Thank you for your support. Appreciate that. I don't have the numbers to pull here right now, but I would go out on a limb and say that if you're anxious, at least 50% of the people that are anxious have a correction wound associated with silent treatment. That you have an unhealthy relationship with people who have corrected you in your past, or maybe even in the present, that have given you silent treatment as a means of correction. And what that does to an anxious person is drives them nuts. You're already an overthinker. So if you're already an overthinker and you offend me, and then I don't talk to you and tell you what you did wrong, your overthinking goes through the roof. Another reason why anxious and avoidant people, really not a good idea. I know that's the most common couple connection. That's the most common couple combination. I understand that, but that doesn't make it a good idea. Because let me tell you something. If the anxious person offends the avoidant and the avoidant starts running or shuts down and does not want to explain what's wrong or goes days without talking to you because they don't want to tell you or they want you to feel bad because of what you did, you talking about push and pull. You talking about a toxic connection. It's a horrible combination. A horrible combination. In my opinion, silent treatment is one of the top causes for anxious attachment style. For people that have a correction wound, it's silent treatment. And this materializes because if you're used to silent treatment, growing up as a child from your parents' guardians, you'll be an adult in grown relationships, marriages, relationships, friendships. People, y'all do this to friends. It can happen in friendships. You will take that as an adult because it's familiar to you. When I offend somebody, they get quiet. And so you will allow them to go a couple of days. You'll let it pass. You might try to bring it up, but depending on what their style is, you may just ignore it altogether. Hey, I'm just glad they're talking to me again. And you didn't even address the issue. So they didn't went 4 days silent with you. And because that silence is killing you as an anxious person, you just try to be in a hurry to get things back to normal. So you gloss over their behavior just to try to reach what you call normal when it's really dysfunction. It's really dysfunction to try to reach back to normal, quote unquote, behavior or conversation or communication when you didn't even deal with the issues at hand. Now, I see a really good question here that's connected to this. And I know we kind of just talked about shame and silence, but the polar opposite of silence, yelling. Somebody said this. What about yelling and shaming? This is a really good question here. Because many of you are not going to agree with this. I know, especially you gentle parent generation that's raising the next Freddy Krueger. Oh my God. Raising the next Jason Voorhees. Oh my God. Raising the next Marilyn Manson. Oh my God. I need y'all to hear me out. This is a really good question. What about yelling? What was the question? What about yelling and shaming? Really good question here. Yelling can absolutely heighten the intensity of shame. Make no mistake about it. That if you're shaming a person and then you add with that increased tone, increased volume to that shaming, yeah, it can make shaming really, 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 really bad. But let me help y'all. Any former athletes on the line? Current or former athletes? I am. Doc 6'3" in real life. It shocks people. I was in the Charlotte stop. And people hug, Doc, you really tall for real. I didn't think you was tall like that. Yeah, I'm 6'3". And then I met people like Colin that was there. Colin taller than me. Colin got to be about 6'5". Any former athletes? Can I tell y'all something? Some of the best coaches that I had were yellers. Some of the best coaches I had were yellers. This is why I be laughing at people, because everybody got something to say about your stuff. You're not gonna please everybody on social media. I don't even try. People put on your comment, that's good, but why is he talking like that in that tone? Look, I don't take that personal. Everybody that knows that I do my work and knows that the passion by which I do my work knows I ain't screaming at y'all to insult y'all. Doc's very passionate about his work. And if you know Doc personally, he doesn't talk like this in just his personal life. Like, you're not gonna walk in my house and be like, hey, what's up? Come on in here, man. Come on in, man. What's up? Oh my God, man. Yo. Doc only does this when he's teaching. Doc, Doc only does this when he's passionate about his work. In Doc's personal life, Doc is a really chill, laid back dude. But can I tell y'all something? Some of the best coaches I had were screamers. My daddy, happy birthday, daddy, was one of them. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I never left practice thinking, man, my daddy can't stand me. Never. Tony Jones, Coach Tony Jones, my AAU basketball coach, won 5 state championships, by the way. 5. Placed as high as 6 in nationals, AAU. Played point guard on that team. Oh my God. Tony Jones, though, will get into you. You miss a trap, you miss a layup, baby, you got laid out. But it was never being called names. These were kids, these were also men. These were also men that sold fish in 90-something degree weather for hours to raise money for young men to be able to go off and compete in nationals because their parents didn't have it. We never took that as poor correction. Why? Because even in the yelling, y'all, it was grounded in love. Yeah, they raised money, man, sold fish, was knocking on doors, going to city council meet. They did all this stuff. We were kids, man. We didn't even understand the magnitude of it. We just knew many of us came from families that didn't have $1,500 laying around. And not once when they yelled at us did we scream at them, oh, he can't stand up. We knew it was grounded in love. We watched them labor for us. All I'm saying is, to that question, that it is possible that a person can yell at you and still love you. You better learn to look at the intent and measure the intent behind that yelling. Because there's a very fine line between yelling because you're being toxic and you trying to shame and hurt somebody, and yelling because you're passionate. I'm not talking about no toxic passion, but because you really care. I'm telling you. Is this making sense? I'm not, because I know there's always, and I'm just waiting so we can drop some eagles in the chat, because there's bound to be one to say, yep, this guy, I can't get with this. This is idiotic. This guy's encouraging yelling. No, I'm not. I'm not encouraging yelling. Because I do believe that as you heal, you're able to even control that. Now, I'm going to always raise my voice on this live. That's just my style. It's my presentation style. If you've been to my tour, you're gonna hear my voice elevate a few times. I think I wanted the best of the business. I'm going to do it. And y'all just going to have to live with that. But Doc ain't without self-control. Doc knows when raising your voice is going to be sufficient and appropriate in certain areas. In other areas, it may not be. Doc does the interview on DC5 in Fox 5 in DC. I wasn't sitting on that lady's couch yelling at her. Just giving the interview. That was not appropriate for that situation. Okay? So was the correction grounded in love, shame, silence? This should be an easy one. Was it grounded in anger? Yep. Was it grounded in anger? Were you being corrected and that correction was grounded in people really being genuinely mad at you? I think it's problematic if you were corrected as a child and your fear was, I don't want my mama to be mad at me. I don't want my daddy to be mad at me. That's something I've had to, and I think a lot of times with my two kids, it's just really more about presence than anything else. That's something I had to be very self-aware about, especially about 5 or 6 years ago when our lives were transitioning. I had to be very aware of that. I didn't want them to take my correction as me being mad because it was so strong. So you adjust the strength of the correction. You don't water it down. You don't water down the truth, but you adjust the strength and you make sure you increase the reminder of love when you're doing that, so that they don't mistake that as you're mad at me. No. Is this making sense? Is this making sense? So I do believe one of the outputs of being healed is self-control. That the extent to which you have healed, especially mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, the extent to which you have healed mentally, emotionally, and spiritually should be the extent to which you are able to calm yourself down, even if you are pissed off and you're really mad. Let me tell you something. Nowadays, my kids don't, my kids don't expect that daddy. I don't be in there yelling and screaming and carrying on and kicking and hollering. No. This healing thing works like this with me. If I had to get on my kids about something and my voice don't get no louder than this right here, and I'm just looking at them calmly, I might even have a smile on my face and I'm correcting them, you'll see them with tears coming down their face. Don't take no loud scream, cry, yell, none of that. It is the ability to have self-control as you correct that sometimes does everything that yelling does and more. I knew I was healed, not just with my children. I knew I was healed when even in the workplace, I could correct an employee and not even raise my voice. Hey, listen, you are way out of pocket. We're not going to do that again. If we do, here's the consequence. It's just that simple. And they look at you like, what? Kind of expecting you to explode. Oh, it's nothing to explode over. We're not going to do this way. And this is your first and only warning. When you can move in that space with some self-correct, with some self-control, with some self-control, it's a different kind of energy. So we have to develop a healthy relationship with those four things. Let me give you another prompt. So the first prompt was, what did correction look like between the ages of 3 to 8? The second prompt was a multi-layer one. Was I corrected in love, shame, silence, or anger? Was I corrected in love, shame, silence, or anger? Prompt number 3. These are prompts that I'm just giving you. What message did I internalize about myself when I was corrected? These are things I want you to think about as you're evaluating whether or not you have a correction wound. Let me give it to you again. What message did I internalize about myself when I was corrected? Because sometimes you may not be able to remember if it was how harsh it was or the exact details. But what you can remember is when my mom or dad or guardians got on me, what message did that send to me when they got on me? How did I take that? How did I interpret that? Did I go in my room and say to myself, I'm so stupid? Or did I go to my room and think that I wasn't good enough? Did I go to my room and think that I wasn't worthy enough? Did I walk around guilt tripping myself all day? Was I overly harsh on myself? That sometimes can give you some insight into whether or not you had that correction wound. Did every time you were corrected, did it feel like the world was coming to an end? You might have a correction wound. Maybe that correction was done in such a style that it made you feel so extreme. It made your thoughts about the correction and your behavior feel so extreme. Okay? Here's a fourth point you can think about, or prompt rather, that you can think about. Did I feel seen or silenced when I made mistakes? This is a big one. When I made mistakes, did I feel seen or did I feel silenced? Doc, how can you feel seen when you make a mistake? Well, a healthy parent can make a child feel seen even when they mess up. Even when a child messes up, a healthy parent can make that child still feel seen when they did the wrong thing. You want an example? They failed the test. A broken parent calls names, berates, gives silent treatment, don't talk to your kids for days, which is crazy. That's what an unhealthy parent does. A healthy parent, your child failed the test. First of all, you're going to correct them. This is not acceptable. F's are not acceptable in my house. And you're not going to walk around and think that it is. And if you make another one, there's a consequence. Ain't going to be no phone. Ain't going to be no hanging out. Ain't going to be no sports. Ain't going to be no, there's a consequence. And so you're getting this consequence because you know better. You're way more smarter at your age than I ever was. You have no business making these. That statement alone helps your child feel seen even when they're in error. I've had to have this conversation with my kids. I told my kids they early bloomers. I was a late bloomer. I made some A's here and there, but I was a heavy B student, and I made some C's every now and then that I got grounded for because my dad was Phi Theta Kappa. He made 2 B's in college. That's it. PhD from Virginia Tech. 2 B's in college. A walking genius. We got grounded for C's. Some B's. Straight up. So my kids walk around A's and B's and all of these A's and stuff. At their age, it wasn't until I got like into college that's when I started cooking. I was a late bloomer in all things, grades, looks, all of that. Well, I'm still a nerd, proudly. That ain't gonna change. But my kids are early bloomers. I have to tell them, y'all walk around here, you got a D on this test, or a C in this class, a F in this class. Y'all know better. Y'all way smarter at y'all's age than I ever was. That helps your kid in correction, y'all, still be seen. That helps your kids at their age, when they are corrected, still be seen. So that's how you do it. You correct your child and still let them feel seen and knowing that they are better than that. Absolutely. Okay. Let's talk really quickly about reframing, and then I'm gonna wrap this up. Let's talk really quickly about reframing. Y'all like the video? Share the video. Before I get into this, I got a big announcement. So, New Orleans, we are heading your way on November the 15th. November the 15th, I will be in New Orleans, Louisiana with the Self Awareness Tour. November the 15th. Now, I was on social media last week. I was on social media last week. And while I was on social media, I think it was Wall Street Trapper. Shout out to him. Love his work and his content. I think he follows me as well. In that financial literacy space, he's doing some great work. I happen to just be scrolling, and he posted a video, and it was a guy that was talking to the media. He had a shirt off, and he was talking to the media, and he said, he made the statement, if my family is out there, I don't know where my family is, I don't know where they are, but if y'all are out there, I haven't talked to y'all in days, I just want to make sure y'all are okay. And the video looked old. And so I was like, what is this? Well, I read his caption, and 2025 is the 20-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Probably one of the worst storms that have ever hit America. Worst hurricanes, worst storms that have ever hit America. And so people were like, Trap, where is this? And if y'all can tag him, he might jump on and check this out. So y'all tag Wall Street Trapper if you follow him, especially on IG, because I think we follow each other there. So people were like, Trap, where did this come from? Where did this come from? So somebody was like, there's a special on Netflix and there's a special on Hulu. So what did I do? Well, Saturday morning, I woke up, I think it was like 3 in the morning, and on Saturday morning, I couldn't even go back to sleep. So I went on Hulu, and man, I started watching the Hurricane Katrina special on Hulu and just could not believe what I saw. There was a version that the media portrayed, and there was a version that it really was. To see so many black and brown people get shot, doggone lynched during a national disaster was insanity. I'm laying in my bed at 3 in the morning. By the second episode, I got a tear coming down my face. I literally have a tear coming down my face because I could not believe how the people in one of my favorite cities, New Orleans is one of my favorite cities. Hulu has a special. Netflix I haven't seen the one on Netflix. The one on Hulu was enough for me. I'm gonna probably go watch the Netflix one too. So I'm just sitting there watching people get called refugees, watching the governor at that time literally telling people, hey, I'll give y'all some feedback when I get back from my lunch. I need an hour and a half for my lunch. And the Louisiana Superdome is filled with thousands of people for multiple days, and they ain't got no food, no nothing. And man, I'm sitting there laying on the bed, man, I got tears coming down my face. Tears coming down my face. And then it hit me. This is the 20-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. I didn't even realize it's been 20 years. No, you need to watch it. You will have a different respect. I can't think of the lieutenant's name. I can't think of this Army guy's name. I'm going to have to go back on Hulu and shout him out. I don't even know if the guy is still living. They brought this guy in, and this guy did work. Because up until that point, even a lot of the people that was in charge was playing around. I'm not trying to cause no fights or nothing. I'm just telling you what I saw. They brought, the Creole man. I can't, his honor, it was Honoree was his name. I can't think of his name. He's still living. Let me tell you something. I would love to shake this dude was a leader. He came in. These government organizations had all these rules. He said, man, forget that, man. These people starving. How are we going to solve the problem right now? Lieutenant General Honoré. Yes. I don't know him. Shout out to you for showing us what leadership looks like. That's my kind of guy. Forget these rules. I'm going to solve the problem. And he came in and cleaned up some stuff and got stuff moving. I'm sitting there watching this and tears coming down my face. And then that's when it hit me. They were like 2005, 2005, 2005. Oh my God, that was 20 years ago. So New Orleans, this is what we're going to do. New Orleans, I wanted to do the tour for free. My only fear is that a lot of y'all would sign up and not show up. And you would block the road for people that really want to be there. So New Orleans, my stop in New Orleans, November the 15th, is $20. There is a seating capacity, $20. You will never see me live for $20. Ever. Doc's not saying that arrogantly. Doc knows his value and worth. $20. I need everybody in the New Orleans area or who just like going to New Orleans to meet me in New Orleans on November the 15th for $20 plus taxes. Can we, Gigi, one of my subscribers, can we donate to buy tickets in order for folk? Doc, what do you mean? Are you saying donate tickets, buy tickets to give to people to have them come? If that's what you're saying, I don't have a problem with that. $20. The link's live right now. Once we're at capacity, y'all, it's got to be ticketed. Once we're at capacity, can't take no more. I wanted to do it for free. I was talking to Sion. Shout out to Sion, my site coordinator there. And I texted her. She was out of the country. I said, Sion, I'm going to do New Orleans for free. Don't worry about prices. Just give me the bill. I'm going to foot the cost out of my pocket. And it's going to be free. And she was like, Doc, oh my God, as a New Orleans, this is just really she was really coming. And then it hit us. Like just thinking about it, going back and forth. Got to have some accountability here. So 20-year anniversary, $20. 90-minute tour talk with me. I'll have products there. If you want to get books and things like that, you can get all of that. That'll stuff will all be there. It's the least that I can do for a city that experienced one of the most damaging situations 20 years ago. Venue information is all on the link. Go get your tickets. $20. Now, some of you that are not in New Orleans, you got a reason to come to New Orleans. But you want to get that ticket right away. That's more than reasonable. Forget reasonable. That's crackhead. Oh my God. But Doc's doing it. Why? Because y'all, it's a blessing. It's more of a blessing to give than it is receive. I live by that. Doc, why are you so blessed? Because I'm a giver. That's why. So New Orleans, I want y'all to get on that right away. Links live right now. Naomi talking about 6-hour drive. Naomi, just get on a plane. It's easier. It's faster. New Orleans, I want to see y'all there. If you know any people, I think Wall Street Trapper is from New Orleans. You know, any people that are from New Orleans, share the flyer. It'll be out. It'll be coming out tomorrow. Share the flyer, tag people from New Orleans, tell them to get on it. I want to pack that place out and do it really, 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 really fast. We're not going to shortchange the area, or that stop still going to have food, refreshments, all of that stuff going to still be there. I ain't shortchanging nothing. I want to see that city continue to heal and grow, and I want to be a part of it. All right, is that cool? Let's talk a little bit about reframing really quickly to heal this correction wound, and then we're done. It's going to be in New Orleans. The location is on the site. Just go to my link in my bio or go to my webpage, www.zebthethird.com. You'll see it right there. It's already live. And it has the venue and all of that stuff right there. Okay? So if you're in New Orleans, make sure you check that out. North Carolina was awesome. We were at North Carolina last month. It was great. Okay? No, I appreciate you. Let's talk real quickly about reframing. The key, y'all, to healing your correction wound, like most wounds, is reframing. You got to reframe what these experiences have meant to you. So if you have been corrected in any of these unhealthy ways that we've talked about, that have created any of these wounds that we've talked about, you've got to reframe what these experiences mean to you. It's so important. You have to reframe what these experiences mean to you, because in reframing these experiences, you reset the beliefs behind correction that you have. So you reset you reset your beliefs around your correction wound, so that you don't see correction as something that's shaming you. But you see that experience, even if it was bad, you reform the belief so you can reform the thought, so you can reform the emotion, so you can reform the behavior, so you can change your life. Remember, beliefs create thoughts, thoughts create emotions, emotions create behaviors, behaviors change your life. Again, beliefs create thoughts, thoughts create emotions, emotions create behaviors, and change behaviors change your life. So the key to healing any of these wounds is reframing your beliefs around these experiences. And when you reframe your beliefs around these experiences, you see them differently. So I'll give you an example. They yelled at you. Maybe you were yelled at a lot as a kid, and it was done in a way that wasn't healthy or in love or grounded in love, but it was done in shame and anger and abuse. Well, if they yelled at you when you made mistakes, you would probably say stuff like, "I'm a disappointment." That probably made you feel like you were a disappointment. You got to reframe that. That the yelling didn't mean you were a disappointment, and neither did the yelling mean that you were always innocent. The yelling meant that you were connected to someone who had the inability to correct you without keeping, they had the inability to correct you and not separate their love for you at the same time. I told somebody yesterday, and I want to say this again now. I told somebody yesterday that, y'all, you got to stop taking trauma from broken people so personal. Can y'all put that in the chat? Stop taking trauma from broken people so personal. Stop taking dysfunction from broken people so personal. I get it. When you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, it's hard to do that. Because if you are being traumatized at 5 from an adult who doesn't have their trauma and dysfunction in order, you're going to take that as a kid personal if it's not grounded in love. But you know what, y'all? One of the beautiful things about growing up and becoming an adult and an aware adult, you realize that, man, when I take the trauma of an adult, a full-fledged, self-aware adult, when I take their trauma personal, their dysfunction personal, it absolutely becomes a me problem and not a them problem. Y'all, I'm telling you right now, and don't get offended when I say this, but I mean it. It is real silly to walk around taking the dysfunction of broken people personal. And I'm going to tell you, that's going to solve 30% of your wounds. I want y'all to put this in all caps. This is salad worthy. You know what a value, you know what solves 30% of your wound, 30% of your wounds? It's 3 words. Evaluate the source. You want to heal your correction wound? You want to heal your abandonment wound? You want to heal any wound you got? Think about the people who gave it to you. Good gracious. Man, if that ain't salad, are y'all supporting this show? If that ain't salad worthy, I don't know what is. If you want to heal any of your wounds, think about the people who gave them to you. That's a great place to start because that's going to deal with no. Let's change that 30% number. That's gonna solve 50% of the problem. Because you know what? It deals with them. Y'all not listening. This is just so easy sometimes. This stuff is so easy and so common sense sometimes. I have to pinch myself. That if you've been wounded, you have a correction wound by a dysfunctional parent who also had correction wounds, had their own challenges, had their addictions, had their problems. They were completely unaware of them or oblivious to them, didn't do the work, and they were overly harsh with you. How legitimate is that wound? How legitimate is it for you to walk around and say, I'm not worthy, when the person who made you feel that way had unresolved trauma? 50% of healing the wound is realizing who wounded you. 50% of healing the wound is acknowledging who wounded you. Because when you've been wounded by broken people, and those broken people don't have the self-awareness to realize that they got a problem, you would be crazy. I'm gonna say, I don't care if it offends you, I'm gonna look you in your face and tell you. If you have been wounded by a broken person, and that broken person doesn't even have the self-awareness to realize that they are broken, and their brokenness has you questioning your worthiness, at that point, they ain't the problem. You are. At that problem, at that point, you are the problem. And let me tell you something. I have simplified this work for my clients. It's almost a crime how simple it becomes to them when they realize it. Doc, I got this wound. I've always felt shame. I've never felt worthy. And they just cry and I let them cry. I never felt worthy. I never felt worthy, Doc. I just know I was always corrected wrong. I never felt worthy. I let them get through it. And I say, tell me about the person who corrected you. Well, it was my mama. My mama, she never knew who her mama was. Her daddy left them and abandoned them. She had drug addiction. She had these problems, these challenges, and she absolutely wanted me. And then I'll be like, say all of that again. No, repeat that again. And I make them repeat it. They don't get it because the first time I tell them to repeat it, they think I didn't hear them. So I say, repeat it again. And then they repeat it. And then I look them in the face and say it again. That's when the lights start going off. How legitimate is a wound that comes from a dysfunctional person? I'm helping y'all write that question down with the word levels. How legitimate is a wound from a broken person? How legitimate is a wound from a dysfunctional person? I'll wait because some of y'all thinking there's truly levels to this, y'all. And while many of y'all are in therapy and you're on year 13 trying to work through a correction wound from a dysfunctional parent, let me just help you cut to the chase and save you some money. 50% of solving it is evaluating the source of where it came from. And if the source of the wound is dysfunctional, the legitimacy of the wound is in question. That's a bar. If the source of the wound is dysfunctional, Sean, I hope you still on and you clip that. If the source of the wound is dysfunctional, the legitimacy of the wound is in question. What a bar. That's salad worthy. Y'all better support this show. If the source of the wound is dysfunctional, the legitimacy of the wound is questionable. Just start right there. And then all of a sudden, you're going to be like, well, doggone it. How was I walking around for all of these years and into my adulthood thinking I'm not worthy when the people that were wounding me didn't even have no self-awareness about their own challenges? Fonda said, this just gave me an aha moment. Yeah, plenty of them. This stuff ain't hard. Doc, why your clients heal so fast? Y'all experience it in real time. You think this is tough? You ought to be a subscriber or you ought to be a client. There's levels to this. Don't take Doc long. And it doesn't take you long either. Why don't you start before you start reframing, or to help you rather reframe what these wounds mean? Start with who the source is. I'm telling y'all, some of y'all, many of you, I'm done. I'm done. Last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm wrapping this up. I'm done. Many of y'all are carrying correction wounds right now from that are really illegitimate. And it's too much TikTok and it's too much Instagram and it's too much chat GPT and all of this stuff. A lot of these correction wounds that many of y'all are carrying are really illegitimate. You know why? Because you got them from dysfunctional sources. I mean, besides, how do you expect a dysfunctional person to treat you? How do you expect a dysfunctional person to treat you? How? Appreciate that, Leanne. Always good to see you. Always appreciate your support. How do you expect a dysfunctional person to treat you? Some of you, this carries into your marriages and your relationships. Some of you claim to have wounds from your partners. Well, my ex-husband, my ex-wife, my ex-boyfriend, my ex-girlfriend wounded me. Wait a minute. Hold. How they wound you? Well, they got me feeling like I'm not worthy. How they make you feel like you're not worthy? Because of how they treated me, how they talked to me. They cheated on me. Okay. Then tell me a little bit about them. How healed were they? Doc, they had a lot of problems. They were real attitudinal. Who raised them? Doc, she, they ain't know that mama or that daddy. So you're telling me you were wounded by a broken person, right? Yeah. You tell me you were wounded by a dysfunctional person, right? Yeah. And how legitimate is that wound? You're telling me you're questioning your shame or your worth and your value off the behavior of a broken person. That's what you're saying? And here many of you all are in therapy going on year 20 and you ain't solved this wound. You're in year 20 and you ain't solved this wound. Demetra says, what if the person has a delusion or skewed view of the person that caused the wound? They're still not in self-awareness. Here's the beautiful thing about that question, Demetra, because it's a reminder that even if the person that caused the wound has a skewed view of the person who caused their wound, they will never be able to get to a place of pure authenticity and healing until they just get honest about the person who wounded them. And many of us are playing games with the people that wounded us. You know why? Because you don't want to admit that your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your brother, your ex, you don't want to admit these people did it. Oh my God. It's safer for you to turn a blind eye than to admit it or to have a difficult conversation. One of the most beautiful things that I see in my space is when children and their parents come together and they get together on their healing journey together. I think that's a beautiful thing, especially among adult children. You know why? Because there's probably a lot of mutual hurt that's taking place. It's a beautiful thing to watch. But those conversations are hard because one or both of you have to admit, we got a big part in this. I got a big part in this. So those conversations are very hard, but beneficial. Oh, yes, very beneficial. Okay, so I hope that answers that question, right? Yeah, good. Thank you, Demetria, right? So this again, just it starts with that. You evaluate the source, great. Then this is a dysfunctional person. Then let's go to reframing. Then what is it? What did this experience mean to me? And what is the new meaning or new belief that I'm going to create regarding my experience then with this dysfunctional person that wounded me? What is the new belief I'm going to create? Well, they did maybe the best according to their ability, their knowledge. And now that I'm aware of the challenges that they experienced, I can free myself not to feel shame or guilt, not to feel shame or guilt receiving that kind of treatment from someone who was also broken. And you start with that new belief, and that new belief creates a new thought. That new thought creates a new emotion. That new emotion creates a new behavior. That behavior changes your life. Y'all, was this helpful? Was this helpful? Let me just throw a couple of things on the screen real quick. 3-hour intensive. I still have some slots open. You guys are interested in that. That's my couples intensive, 3 hours with me. It's very popular right now. Don't make it happen. Let it go. Those are flying off the shelf as well. Really appreciate your support. Dallas, I'm going to be with you this Saturday, not tomorrow, but next week. I'm going to be with you next Saturday, September the 13th. I want to see you there. Get your tickets, Dallas. Let's pack it out. LA, I'm going to be with you October the 4th. Can't wait to be in LA. It's going to be a great stop. Make sure you get your tickets for LA. Also, Healing Forward, my fall course. It's a 4-week course. Those of you that have already signed up for the course, I'm going to have to alter one date. But it doesn't matter if you can't make the date, no big deal. These sessions are recorded, and the people that participate get access to the recording. And so Healing Forward is my 4-week course. I do a spring course and a fall course every year. So if you haven't signed up for that, it's powerful, really good topics that we're going to be discussing. I'd love to see you there. And then, of course, tonight, New Orleans, we announced it. November the 15th, I'll be in New Orleans, Louisiana for my New Orleans stop. It is a $20 ticket in commemoration of the 20-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. I wanted to do something and be a blessing to that city. I hope this is acceptable. And I hope those of you that are from New Orleans or have family there that you would just tell people to just come out and be a part of it, because I would love to see that place packed out in New Orleans. All right. So make sure you get your tickets. That is live. And I think people are already grabbing tickets like crazy. So you might want to jump on this really soon and spread the word. If you know anybody in New Orleans, tell them to get on this like now because we really want to try to pack the place out. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Have you supported the show? I need y'all to support the show. You know how this works. If you support it, I will leave this up I will leave this up if you guys support the show. If not, we will take it down and we'll make it available just to our subscribers. The ways to support the show are on the screen. I appreciate all of you. Have a tremendous weekend. Peace and blessings. I'll see you soon. Take care.